Will MMORPG's great era return? And more importantly, is there any hope that even if the era returns once more to its previous glorious days, it will be again like the old days, when most people who played online games played MMORPGs and loved the genre so much? Also, last but not least, will the games that will bring back the massive population to MMORPGs keep them and elevate the genre to the highest possible podium again? I will give you my honest answers after I remind you exactly what made MMORPGs so great back in the day, based on my experience with the genre from 2005 until now. First of all, the biggest change that happened to the world back then was the availability of the internet to more people, as well as, of course, the revolutionary development of portable computers that made them accessible to the masses and not only to a few. MMORPGs give the player the feeling that they belong to a whole new world where the possibilities are endless and the burdens of your real-life problems don't matter, so they act like a true form of escapism from the real world. It doesn't matter what color, age, religion, or how much money you have. Of course, we can't say the same about the MMORPGs of today because money plays a huge part in them. You left all those parameters behind to create a virtual adventure with thousands of people that you never knew and probably would never even interact with if it weren't for the game to bring you together. MMORPGs were the reason that many great relationships began, and they still exist even after multiple years. Another reason that made the games feel so great was the same as now for the release of new games, but not on the same scale, because they were new and we had so many things to learn about them. Another big factor was the sense of progression these games created for the players. You knew that you needed to try a lot to upgrade your gear so you would be able to go to a specific area or complete a specific quest. You could totally feel the difference between +2 strength or intelligence, for example, when now most of those things have become meaningless because the way the content is being designed is to just blast it out fast. The leveling process was a huge part of the game, and you needed time to get to max level, and this time was filled with great story and meaning, whereas nowadays in most MMORPGs, leveling is done as a filler for a few hours. MMORPGs gave you virtual goals that you could spend thousands of hours achieving and become one of the best at among the people who played them. I am sure that if you have played for a lot of years, you will remember the sense of satisfaction when you get the drop you want, and it is special. When you or someone else has an item so rare that only a handful of people, if any, own it at this time, give them the fulfillment that they have achieved something special and are being admired by the people who know what you need to do to get that item, and they are at the top of the chain in this virtual world. One big part of the whole greatness was the adventure into the unknown because, back then, we didn't just search on YouTube for the game before even starting it, the best possible way to level up, or the best farming spot. We had to live and discover these things by ourselves, even though many times it was annoying because we couldn't locate exactly where the mobs we needed to kill were or we couldn't find the NPC to deliver the quest. All of that was part of the magic and the sense of discovery that today is so hard to have because we know everything about the games before they even release the live versions. We need to be able to put up certain barriers that it would be best not to pass through to gain a sense like that once again, like in the old days. Don't get me wrong, I believe that nothing can be exactly the same because, as the years passed, we grew up and games changed their approaches for the same reason. Especially the people that we grew up with in the great days of the genre now have much more things to take care of and many responsibilities like family, work, etc. So it's logical to assume that this is a much harder game to keep our attention at the same level of commitment as the old MMO did. Let's also touch a bit on the subscription systems that have turned most games from being primarily subscription-based to being free-to-play so they can attract a larger portion of the market and make them more accessible to people who do not want to invest money for a whole month. On the other hand, because they must make money, they put a pay-to-win system in place to keep the audience spending, and sad to say, this became more profitable for them than just a subscription-based model. In a perfect world, I would like a free-to-play game with shop options only for cosmetics and no pay-to-win elements. I strongly believe that if we support systems like that, we will finally see a shift in their approach. But will just an old-style MMORPG be able to keep the audience engaged, or will it need to implement something new in it to hook the audience for many years as the old MMOs did? The truth is that we can't be certain of anything, but in my opinion, The next big era of MMORPGs will keep the good things of the past and provide something more to keep the audience interested for many years. The drop in player base had to do, of course, with the rise of MOBAs and FPS games that gave the masses a fair competitive environment. Also because of that, we saw esports become huge and gain a lot of growth, but we are starting to see the cracks in the wall, so definitely people can turn once again to MMORPGs. For me, I think the best time that the great era of MMORPGs can return again is in the following years, because we have once again many promising games coming our way. Games like Blue Protocol, The Quinfall and PAX Day can help the genre gain momentum once more. But my eyes are fixated on Throne and Liberty in Chrono Odyssey in the near future, Ashes of Creation, and Riot's MMORPG in the distance, and I believe that one of the last two games can be the next big MMORPG. Of course, our hope is not only to get one big game but many of them because we need variety to keep the genre at the top again. At the end of the day, only time will tell if my speculation is true or just pure fantasy from a guy who grew up and loved MMORPGs. I would love to know what you believe. Can the following years bring back the great and glorious days of MMORPGs? Or is there no way to see times where the genre is at the top again? Let me know in the comments. And if you liked the video, hit the like button. Also, if you would like to be notified when the next video comes out and want to support my efforts, hit the subscribe button with the bell activated. Thank you very much if you stayed until now. I hope to see you again soon.